Fox Sports.
We are Buckmore. We are Ohio.
In the first two games of this series, Greg Allen has been a superhero for Cleveland. In game one, he did it with his bat. Last night, he saved the Tribe with his glove, robbing extra bases, leading off the fifth, and then in the seventh inning, a key catch with men on base helped bail the Indians out of a big jam. Now the Indians look to win 3 in a row here in Beantown in this series as they continue the 4-game series. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Carlos Carrasco gets the start for the Tribe tonight, and Cookie is having a tremendous season. He is 4th in the American League in road earned run average. He's among the top 10 in strikeouts, and if he wins tonight, he'll move back into a tie for the league leading victories.
Well, we all know Cookie can get on a roll, and he is on one right now. As a matter of fact, since the All-Star break, he is 4-1 with the second best ERA in the league at 133, but you can expand it out. Since he came off the DL, he's 7-1. And that breaking ball and changeup, he has 3 above average pitches to get hitters out. But the one thing, he's going to have to get his first win in this ballpark. But you can see tied for third, 15 wins. And you see his friends down there, run support 6-2-8.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get him 6 runs tonight, and I think he'll be just fine. And they've been scoring. They scored 5 the first night, 6 last night.
I think that's been the key, and they've done it in different ways, coming from behind in game one. Last night they played from in front. So if that holds up again here tonight, could be another big night for Cleveland. We'll be back with the play-by-play. Alan Jensen are up next with the showstopper, and we'll check in with Andre Knott all straight ahead.
Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. And by Cleveland Clinic Express Care online. Tap the app for 24/7 virtual visits.
Warm, a little bit on the muggy side, feeling a little bit more like August. After the first 2 nights here at Fenway had more of an autumn feel to it. Carlos Carrasco making his way in from the bullpen. He'll be on the mound tonight for Cleveland. Before we get set for tonight's first pitch, let's go downstairs to Andre Knott, who has more on the Indians' newest superhero.
Well, Greg Allen is becoming a feature on the postgame interview over the last week and a half. Part of it is his hit streak. Part of it is some of the superhuman defense he's played at center field here in Fenway Park. I sat down with Rajai Davis to talk about what happens to the confidence of a young player once they have a little bit of success.
He's going to play based on because he's young. You know, it's tougher, I think, for younger guys to come into the major leagues and just have a self kind of confidence, like, oh, I own this, I'm supposed to be here, as opposed to, you know, a little timid as to what do people think, you know, what are people going to say if I do this, you know. But when you're allowed to go out there and just play your game, whatever that game you want to play is, and allowed to, you know, have some success, allowed to fail, you know, and just learn from that, I think it brings a lot more confidence within the player.
Confidence is such an important part of this game in particular. Major League Baseball, it's a game that beats you up mentally. And you've got to have that confidence even when you're not going well, like a Francisco Lindor who's just 1 for 9 in the series. But you wouldn't know it by the way he acts, by the way he carries himself, because you just have to always exude that confidence.
Yeah, you've got to, you do. You have to have confidence, and you know what? There's other ways to go about doing things when you're not hitting the ball or you're not, you have to prepare and go out there every day and give it your all. It's very simple. Let's check out the Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher. It's going to be Brian Johnson, the left-hander, who's 4-3. It'll be his first time starting against the Cleveland Indians. And over 9 starts in this year. He is 4-1 with a 3.40 ERA. And at home this year, he is 2-1 with a 4.66. So we'll see what he has to offer. He's not overpowering, a good curveball, and a fastball that he'll throw up in the zone.
Let's take a look at the Cleveland Indians starting 9 for Terry Francona. It's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Francisco Lindor once again in the leadoff spot. Michael Brantley sizzling in the month of August, bats second. Jose Ramirez looking to get back on track. He'll hit third. Edwin Encarnacion back from the disabled list. He's going to hit cleanup. Then it's Yandy Diaz, followed by Brandon Guyer. Then Yan Gomes, Greg Allen, and Eric Gonzalez batting ninth. There is Edwin. Back off the disabled list and right back into the starting lineup in the familiar cleanup spot in the lineup. There was quite a bit of speculation when Edwin came off the DL. Would that mean Yandy Diaz goes back to the minor leagues? No. Down on the dirt, ball 1, we're underway. 80 degrees our game time temperature here tonight at Fenway. That's 10 degrees warmer than it was the first couple of games.
Beautiful.
In for a strike.
You can see about 89 miles an hour, and Johnson will get the ball, and he works quickly. He's one of those guys, he's just not going to mess around. Let's get after it. You're going to have to slow him down.
There's a slow, tantalizing breaking ball. Missed off the plate. That time he put it on the dish or just off the outside corner. And it's called a strike. 2-2 the count. And Frankie fouls the fastball off. That was up there 93 miles an hour.
Put a little extra on that one. And it was elevated. Let's see from this side of the plate, 368. He has really been good against lefties.
Shoots it the other way. Down the right field line it goes. It is a fair ball. And it kicks off the wall. Or did it hit? I think it went over that side wall, hit a seat maybe, and then bounce back into play. So it's a double for Lindor to start the game. And that's his 40th double of the year. He leads the league in that category.
I really like the approach on that breaking ball. He was trying to throw it the backdoor variety and catch the outside corner. You can see it bounce, hit into the seats, and hits the pole. Ground rule double, and there's your leaders in the league.
Lindor had gone 9 consecutive games without an extra base hit. But He gets a leadoff double, and we'll see if that leads to some early offense tonight for the Indians. Michael Brantley is 4 for 8 in the series. And he takes the first pitch strike. The Indians have not scored before the 4th inning in each of the first 2 games of this series. But as we know, they have been a great first inning team offensively all season long. They have outscored their opponents 95-60 on the year in the first inning. Johnson very concerned with Lindor at second base.
That was Frankie's 70th extra base hit on the year. He is 3rd in the league behind J.D. Martinez and Jose Ramirez.
Brantley drives one to left. Backpedaling is Benintendi. Makes the catch on the warning track. And Lindor has to hold.
Let's check out the Red Sox defense tonight behind Johnson. It looks like this. Benintendi is in left field. Bradley Jr. in center. Betts over in right. It'll be Holt gets the start at third base tonight. Bogaerts at short. Kinsler is at second. Moreland at first. Swihart is the catcher.
Jeremy Rayak calling the balls and strikes. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, is at first. Pat Hoberg at second. Brian Knight down at third. Well, here's Jose Ramirez with an opportunity now to get the Indians on the board. 0 for 7 in the series, but he walked in each of his last 2 plate appearances last night. And we'll see if there's maybe a carryover effect coming into tonight.
Well, you hope so. And then 7th last night, he walked. He stole a base to score a run in that inning, and they didn't even get a hit.
2-0 the count. It seems like in the first 2 games, he has been overswinging, trying to hit everything out of the ballpark.
I would agree there. A little over anxious.
Missed outside, 3-0.
And this has been a tough place for him to hit. So, you know, you can see the patience now starting to pay off. He's 3-0 count.
Out of play to the right. Been a tough team for Ramirez to face. 70 at bats against Boston in his career and a .214 average, no home runs, and only 2 runs batted in. And another pop-up on the infield.
Still hasn't gotten one out of the infield here, has he?
That's amazing. 2 down. That'll leave it up to Edwin. Now, conversely, unlike Ramirez, Encarnacion has, I don't know if feasted is the right word, but he has done well against Boston, and in particular here at Fenway. 53 games he's played in his career, 17 homers, 47 runs batted in those 53 games. A little low.
Some people, you know, they love it. You see that little wall sitting right out there, and you can play pepper with it.
Up and away. 2-0. And I would imagine if I'm a left-hander and I'm facing a guy like Encarnacion, you're going to make a conscious effort to throw everything away.
Well, you have to pitch in, though. I was going to say, for the longest time, they didn't think lefties succeeded in this ballpark. But if you're going to pitch in this ballpark and you're facing right-handers, you got to pitch inside. And
he clobbers one high in the air, deep left, over the 37-foot wall, and gone, a home run. The Indians strike first in the first on a 2-run homer by Edwin Encarnacion. The Parrot returns for a joyous trot around the bases.
Well, welcome back.
So that is 18 career home runs for Encarnacion here at Fenway Park.
Let's take a look at the pitch, Matty. It's a fastball, and that's middle of the plate away. And he just loved it, and he knew it. He just throws the bat down and takes his trot. That'll be his 26th home run with 83 ribbies. And he's back with a bang.
Boy, you're not kidding. Encarnacion spending a little time on the DL with that. Some soreness in that hand and the bicep. He checked out okay. He was ready to go. And now Yandy Diaz smokes one back up the middle. And so the 2-out hits continue for Cleveland here in the first.
See what I'm saying? He's going to have to pitch these right-handers inside and at least establish some part of that inside part of the plate. That was the 12th home run that Johnson has allowed in his 79 1/3 innings of work.
Brandon Guyer steps in, swings at the first pitch and pops it back out of play. Guyer trying to snap an 0 for 11 slump at the plate. Upstairs. So the Indians out to an early 2-0 lead. Once again, they strike in the first. When the Indians score first in general, they have gone 51-21 overall this year.
Well, it's a good way to start off after you've won the first 2 games of the series. You're letting them know you're not letting up.
Tell you what, they're getting some pretty good swings here in this inning too.
Yes, they are. I haven't seen a pitch go on the inner part of the plate yet. And he has thrown 24 pitches.
Tied him up, struck him out, ends the inning. But not before the Indians get on the board here in the opening frame. Edwin Encarnacion's 26th home run of the season. It's 2-0 Cleveland.
Ohio Honda starting pitcher. Carrasco has been on a roll, 15-6, and a nice 3.33 ERA, has the 4th lowest ERA on the road at a 2.55. But this park has not been kind to him. He's 0-1 in his 3 starts here with an ERA of 7. So he's looking for his first career win here.
The starting lineup for Alex Cora and the Boston Red Sox looks like this. Mookie Betts leading it off. Andrew Benintendi, then Mitch Moreland. J.D. Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Ian Kinsler in the middle. Brock Holt, switch hitting catcher Blake Swihart gets his first start in the series, and Jackie Bradley is batting ninth. And Mookie Betts will lead it off. And a pitch up high, ball 1. Betts, number 1 in baseball with a 340 batting average. Takes a big hack, fouls it straight back.
Yeah, this guy has very quick hands, and he can turn on a baseball. Good fastball hitter.
Swing and a miss, and down goes Betts. Cookie Carrasco with strikeout number 162 on the year.
Well, you'll see the nice breaking ball because he set it up with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And you can see that's a hard slider that he gets Betts to swing over the top of. So first out comes via the strikeout.
Andrew Benintendi takes a pitch outside. Benintendi is 10th in the American League with a 300 batting average. And Carrasco 96 inside corner. That's a good sign.
Benintendi, he's a good hitter. He uses the whole field. He hits the ball where it's pitched. That's why he's a 300 hitter.
Shooting for the outside corner, a delayed call. And it's in for a strike, 1 and 2.
That's where we talk about where if you go right back out there and see how far you can go, how he is going to call that pitch. He's going to call him out there, stay there.
And a foul back out of play. Benintendi riding a 6-game hitting streak coming into tonight's game, 8 for his last 24. Ground ball chopped to second, and it's booted by Eric Gonzalez. So the youngster getting the start in place of Jason Kipnis tonight. Charged with the error here with 1 out in the first.
Well, he nonchalantly came in and tried to make a backhanded play, get in front of it and make the catch. He had the opportunity. To me, that's just, you know, I know he hasn't played a lot, but that's a play that you got to go up there and catch it and get in front of it. So
Seventh error for Gonzalez on the year. 1 on 1 out. Here's Mitch Moreland. 1 for 7 in the series. way outside, and the count is 1-0. The Indians have won 9 of their last 10 and 16 of their last 20. 21 games over 500 at 73-52, and a 13-game lead in the division. They can extend that lead to 14 games if they win tonight, because Minnesota has already lost. Chicago beat them today 7-3. The White Sox, on the other hand, have lost 3 in a row for the first time since April. Their lead over the Yankees, 8 games in the AL East. The Indians are trying to do something tonight, though, that they have not done since 1996. And that's win 4 in a row here in this ballpark.
Yeah, not an easy thing to do. Red Sox always play very well in their home ballpark. Carrasco looking for a ground ball.
Runner goes, and there is the ground ball. Gonzalez with the backhand. Now the long throw. Encarnacion does a nice job to field the one-hop throw to get Moreland for out number 2.
This is something that Cora has been doing, starting the runners. You know, Benintendi has 20 stolen bases, but on the run, if they kept it put, it might have been a double play ball, but a nice backhanded play. Gonzalez comes back, makes the throw to first, gets the second out. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time that he started a runner in this series. 4th time.
J.D. Martinez will bat with a runner at second and 2 down. And he was going after that first pitch. Carrasco crossed him up with a good slider. It's 0-1. Martinez has hit in 13 straight games against the Indians. Back out of play, 0-2.
Trying to elevate the fastball on him.
We saw that in the series opener when
Cody Allen
rode the ladder up on him.
Right. Elevated because he likes the ball down. You got ahead of him with the breaking ball. Let's see if they go one more time to try and climb the ladder. You can change eye levels with him.
The 0-2 in the dirt, gets away, and down to third base goes Benintendi.
That was an easy read for Benintendi. He saw the ball right out in front, and as soon as it hit the dirt, he was off and running. He saw this is his look really on second base as the ball deflects off the glove and the protector of Gomes, and that'll be a wild pitch, and that's Carrasco's 5th.
J.D. Martinez with 2 down. Takes down and in, 2-2. Martinez began the day second in the American League in batting average, trailing his teammate Mookie Betts. Tied for the league lead in home runs, leading the league in runs batted in. And he adds to the total. Red Sox come right back. They get an unearned run off Carrasco as Martinez drives home his 107th of the year.
Well, they went with a fastball away, and Martinez likes the ball away. I mean, he likes to extend. You can see it. It wasn't up enough, but he stayed on it and drilled it to right field, so he gets the 2-out base hit. Although that will be an unearned run. He loves to extend the arms because he takes it that way, so the error costly.
Xander Bogaerts. Three for 9 in the series with 4 runs batted in for Boston. He has been their big run producer so far in the first 2 games. Red Sox held to 4 runs in the opener, 3 runs last night. Bogaerts drove in one of those runs with an RBI double. And he was robbed of a hit in the 5th inning by Greg Allen on a ball that he crushed to straightaway center field, and Allen went up against the wall, caught it, and held on. Fouled away.
Let's check out the Tribe defense, brought to you by Chrysler. It's Brantley in left, Allen in center, Geyer over in right. It'll be Ramirez at third, Lindor at short, Gonzalez is at second, Encarnacion at first, and Gomes behind the plate.
Man at first, 2 down, and Xander Bogaerts in the hole 0-2. Swung on and missed. Cookie really slowed it down. Kind of spun around awkwardly on his plant foot on the mound, but he looks like he's all right. 2 strikeouts for the right-hander. It's 2-1 Cleveland after an inning. Years, especially I would say over the last 20 years, you know, it went from just an absolute die-hard old school ballpark where it was baseball only, no shenanigans, to now there's a carnival atmosphere here every night. They've got the streets open, they've got stuff for kids. I mean, they've really done an amazing job.
Everything upgraded inside the ballpark to the best of its ability.
And don't get me wrong, I never thought there was anything wrong with it 20 years ago. It's just, you know, you got to keep up with the times, and you know, you're trying to squeeze every dollar of revenue you can from you know, it's a tight spot. There's not room to really expand the ballpark. Yan Gomes pops one to shallow left, and Benintendi runs in. They grab it, 1 down.
Let's look at Brian Johnson, his distribution of pitches. 4-seam fastball half the time, and he will throw it upstairs most of the time. His curveball to change the eye level at 29%. He'll mix in a slider and very little of a changeup. So it's really about locating his pitches, but he hasn't been inside much, at least that we have noticed to this point. Lindor started the game off with a double down the right field line, and it was a breaking ball away.
Greg Allen, a bouncer to short. Bogaerts throws him out, 2 away.
MLB At Bat is your #1 Indians app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Indians home screen icons and features such as the MLB Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today.
So 2 down for Eric Gonzalez. And the pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. And another ground ball to short. Bogaerts throws him out. The Indians go 1-2-3. They lead it 2-1, middle of the second.
Encarnacion bobblehead. That'll be courtesy of Noco when the Indians take on the Minnesota Twins. That'll be Wednesday. Grab a $15 district ticket. That is presented by Sports Time Ohio, or a $15 KeyBank Kids ticket online. And only get your tickets at Indians.com or use the Ballpark app.
Ian Kinsler will lead off for Boston here. Bottom of the second inning. Kinsler 1 for 8 in the series. And Carrasco with a fastball over the outside corner, strike 1. And a line drive into left field. And Ian Kinsler has now reached safely in 22 of his last 23 games started.
Let's take a look at Carlos's pitch distribution. 34% four-seam fastball, and he also has that two-seamer where he'll try and run it in and away from the lefties. The curveball is 32%, his changeup 15, and the slider just 7. So that curveball and I think his changeup, he'll figure out which one is going to be his best that night and maybe go to it.
Brock Holt, the batter. Holt, 1 for 3 in the series, getting the start at third base tonight. Pulls that foul. Holt has 7 runs batted in the last 10 games.
We'll see how Cora plays the bottom part of this lineup now with Kinsler. He doesn't steal like he once did, but he's still capable. You have to make him stop at first base, but will he start the runner and let the guy swing?
Kinsler drawing a throw, but back safely.
That's what he's doing. He's holding the baseball a little bit longer and going back over there. See if he comes set quickly and then comes to home plate just to change his pattern.
Good pitch. Just nicked the outside corner. 1-2 the count.
Little change up. Watch the movement. It'll go down. It'll go away. Nice pitch right on the edge.
Runner goes, and a swing and a miss. Throw it out to second base. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play.
He did start the runner with 2 strikes, but Yan Gomes, take a look at him getting rid of this baseball and his footwork behind the dish. There's a little breaking ball, and he gets up and gets rid of it. I mean, it is right on the money, and Francisco's waiting for him. Come on, hurry up and get here so we can tag you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like Kinsler was lollygagging. He out-threw him.
Yes, he did. Terrific throw. Strike him out, throw him out, double play.
And as you said before, you're not really starting the runner with the intention of stealing the base. You're hoping your guy's going to put it in play, maybe create a hole.
Yeah, but he had 2 strikes, so sometimes guys will expand their strike zone knowing the guy's running.
True.
But he has started him in this series, and I think he takes that from where he was with the Houston last year. He wanted his hitters and his offensive guys this year to be a little more aggressive, in the zone, and that's what happens. I mean, you're going to get guys thrown out when you run. That's okay. That's all part of the territory. But when it works, you can create a lot of put a lot of pressure on the defense.
In off the plate. Blake Swihart getting the start tonight, and it's an interesting situation here in Boston. Right now, you've got Swihart and you've got Sandy Leon. Christian Vasquez is on the disabled list, and there have been plenty of times when Boston has carried 3 catchers, and that's just so unusual in this day and age. I mean, there was a time when it wasn't, but because most teams want that extra pitcher,
right,
just don't see that very often. The 2-2 just missed off the outside corner. The other thing too, Arch, if you have 3 catchers, if one of those 3 guys cannot do something else, somebody's going to be doing a whole lot of sitting around.
Well, Swihart can't. He can run. He can play the outfield. That's where he got hurt playing out in left field. But this is a guy that's a catcher that he runs like a normal player. But he wanted to get out of here earlier in the year because he wasn't getting any playing time.
Players want to play. They don't like to sit.
Yeah, it's tough. When you have 3 catchers, you can't catch all of them.
3-2. Swung on and missed. Carrasco tied him up, strikes him out. That's 4 Ks for Cookie through the first 2 here at Fenway. And it's 2-1 Cleveland.
Conveniently access your Indians tickets directly on your mobile device. You can use the app to purchase forward tickets and have your ticket scanned for the entrance to the Progressive Field. And there's no need to print tickets.
Back to the top of the order, Francisco Lindor. He led off the game with a double down the right field line and scored on the homer by Encarnacion. You know, I kind of got away from me in that first inning. I wanted to ask you, the approach that Lindor took against Johnson, is that something you could see a number of the right-handed hitters doing? In other words, if he's going to throw that slow breaking ball, maybe just wait back and take him the other way.
Stay that way. You'll force him to pitch more inside as well, and you might get some pitches to turn on. You see, he's just going to slow it down. He's going to elevate the fastball. He works quickly. So the first time through, the Indians had 3 hits. They were 3 for 9 the first time through.
Down in the dirt.
And you don't have to worry about him. He's not like he's throwing 94, 95. I mean, he reached back on one and we saw 93, but he averages right around 90. There's one in there, in off the dish. Right back away.
We got the scouting report on Johnson before the game and how he works quickly. And we've seen that a number of times where he'll get the ball right back from the catcher, nod, and boom,
yeah,
into the lineup
well,
he goes.
When you're not overpowering, why not? You get into a tempo, a rhythm. Guys, the defense, they like to play behind pitchers like this.
Lindor fouls another one off.
Doing a nice job, just fouling off some tough pitches.
Look out, left side, he pulled that one.
I think the bigger or the harder you swing against this guy, the better he likes it. Frankie is putting together a wonderful at bat.
This one goes to right field, dropping, but Betts able to get there for out number 1.
go down to Andre.
Well, our first night here at Fenway, I told you guys the story and told everyone the story about how Francisco Lindor and Yandy Diaz went into Terry Francona's office to talk about what Yandy needed to do to stay with the big league club. Tito was happy that Frankie was willing to be the guy in the middle to translate what needed to be said. When I asked Frankie who gave him the idea to do that, because his locker back at home is next to Yandy's, he says Yandy had been telling me for a few days how he felt. I didn't know what to tell him. So I went to Michael Brantley, the guy I go to when I need a leader. Because after telling Michael exactly what was going on with Yandy, Michael looked at both of us and said, go into Tito's office and have a conversation with him man to man rather than worrying about the situation and not knowing where you stand. Tito loved to hear that his leaders are all helping each other make this team better.
Yeah, it's a little thing, but it goes a long way. Clear the air.
It's why managers love veteran players. Ground ball to second. And by that, I don't mean just any veteran players, but veterans who have some leadership qualities, and they are worth their weight in gold for a manager because they take care of a lot of the problems that he doesn't have to deal with.
Yes,
exactly.
They patrol their own clubhouse, man. You guys are in charge of your thing here. And he wants that.
And the last thing Frankie said is, you follow the leader. He goes, if he's my leader and Yandy wants to follow me, let's all follow what Michael says and let's get it right.
Two down for Jose Ramirez. And the pitch inside, ball one. Ramirez has been bottled up by Boston pitching so far in this series. Pulls it foul.
Well, he just adds and subtracts, doesn't he? Moves it in, moves it out.
Low and inside, and a good take by Jose Ramirez. And he finally gets on the board with a base hit. That's going to go all the way to the monster. That ball was scorched. And he's going to go in safely with a 2-out double. And that's his 32nd of the year.
See how quickly that ball got to the wall? There's no way Benintendi was going to be able to cut that off. This is just a vicious line drive over the head of Bogaerts. And I mean, it scoots to the wall in a hurry. 109 miles an hour off the bat. Probably put a dent in that wall. So Jose gets his 32nd double. 2-out base hit. Gives Edwin an opportunity now.
Ground ball to third. Brock Holt throws him out, inning over. No runs, a hit, a man left. Middle of the third. Cleveland 2, Boston 1.
taking on the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles in a preseason shootout. Eagles-Browns tomorrow at 8 Eastern on Fox, or stream all the action live on the Fox Sports app. Bottom of the third here at Fenway Park in Boston. The Indians lead it 2-1. Jackie Bradley Jr. to lead it off for the Red Sox. Carlos Carrasco, 36 pitches on the night, and 26 of those have been strikes, so better than 70% thus far for Cookie. He has struck out 4 and changed up nicely. Boy, the change of pace there on that breaking ball had Bradley way out in front of him. Watch the break on this pitch.
Yeah, and watch the depth in that pitch. It just stops. Boy, when you're sitting fastball, you got to get it started.
That one just wrapped around the outside corner. 2-2. Missed away. Full count. You've got Mookie Betts waiting on deck. Back out of play. Fights him off once again.
Yeah. Went back to that breaking ball. Those are things that good offenses do. They make pitchers work, and when they get to 2 strikes, if you can foul off a couple and go deep into counts, that certainly can help you. You know, work some magic and tire that starter down.
Wow, this is a heck of an at-bat for Jackie Bradley Jr. A guy that has not had a good year, batting just .219 coming into tonight. But lately, he's been swinging it better. Multiple hit performances in 5 of his last 10 games.
You know, he can sit down at the bottom of this lineup, you know, and if he could get on, I mean, that's the bonus because he's so good defensively for him.
Another foul ball.
This would be a 10-pitch at bat.
Ground ball, Lindor. Slings it over, and Encarnacion picks it up. 1 down. Our storylines tonight are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. The Indians bullpen has been really good in this series. 1 run allowed in 5 1/3 innings. And boy, it was great to see Andrew Miller pitch the way he did last night. He looked like the old Andrew Miller. Brad Hand has been stellar, and the Indians bullpen is, I think, Arch, it has to give everybody a much better feeling going forward the way they've been throwing. And it's not just any 1 or 2 guys, it's collectively.
Certainly pulling it together, no question about it.
Top of the order, Mookie Betts takes a breaking ball for a strike.
3rd in the league since the break in ERA. You got to like that. And then, you know, eventually they'll start feeding off each other. You can get down and you get Miller. You have Hand. You can see Simber. Go with Allen.
Betts is 0-2. And Ramirez with a diving stop, can't get up and get rid of it though. Betts gets down the line so quickly that Ramirez knew he had to try and scramble to his feet as fast as possible. He could not do it, and an infield single for Betts.
Yeah, on an 0-2 pitch, you watch, he's sitting there and he's going to get it in the hole. He gets to the baseball, but in the transfer, he stumbles and can't really turn it over. And you're right, that's a do or die play. I don't know if he would have been able to get him, even if he comes up, because Betts can get down the line very well. So an infield single.
1 on 1 out now for Andrew Benintendi. He reached on an error and came around to score an unearned run in the first. Benintendi has been on a pretty good roll. Last 35 games, he's hit .350. Well, once again, Cookie's looking for that ground ball. He gets it, but it hit off the foot of Benintendi in a foul ball. So back to first goes Mookie Betts. And that's another guy that Cora can start or just turn him loose. He's stolen 24 bases this year. He's only been caught 3 times.
Yes, great percentage. That's the one thing the Red Sox have, is the best stolen base percentage in the league. And they were very similar with the Indians. They have 98 on the year. They've been caught 25 times.
Rick, it's funny you said that. That's the stat Tito looks at when he comes in to look at teams that they're going against. What's the caught stealing percentage?
Right.
He says that tells you how good a team is at stealing bases, not how many stolen bases they have.
Correct. If you can steal 80% of your bases, it's good, and that's where Boston is at. And the Indians are right there too. They've stolen 100. They've been caught 26 times. So they're both very good base stealing teams. And in this league, you don't see teams run like that anymore.
No.
You may see a player, but when you have 3 or 4 or 5 guys that can go out and steal you a base, that's something. That applies pressure to the defense, and these are high-scoring teams. These guys can open up games, and when you get a lead early, you don't have to sit back and wait for a long ball. You can add on just by starting runners and moving it.
Well, you pointed it out earlier. The Indians created a run without a hit last night. The walk to Ramirez. He stole a base, got to third, came home on a sac fly. 1-2 pitch. High fly ball, right field. Brandon Guyer is there. Now backpedaling onto the warning track.
Tag up on him too.
Betts will.
Oh, I'm surprised he went back
at first. He had a notion.
I thought he was going to tag up and go because Guyer was backpedaling a little bit and he wouldn't be able to get enough on that throw, and that ball died at the end when he threw it in. If you follow it all the way through, here's Mookie saying, okay, I'm going to try. Now look at Guyer. He's still going back, and he gets it in, but that ball sort of died on him going in there, but Betts goes back. Heads up play. He just felt he wasn't going to be able to get there, and you don't want to make an out on the bases.
2 down, Mitch Moreland the batter. Moreland grounded out his first time up.
Missed outside. Moreland has driven home 6 in the last 6 games he's played. But the Indians to this point have held him to 1 for 8 in the series. And that's saying something because he's done a lot of damage against the Indians.
Well, he had a chance to do some damage last night, but Allen made a catch on it. That turned the whole game around.
Yeah.
You got a sacrifice fly on it, but it could have done a lot more damage than that.
Could have been a 2-run double, maybe a triple.
Inning still going. It would have probably been a triple out there in that corner.
Right up the middle. Lindor scoops it. He'll 2-hop it to Edwin. The inning is over. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We've played 3, 2-1 Cleveland. The very top of the green monster.
The monster.
37 feet high and added 4 rows of seats atop the monster. It's funny how that works, though. You look at highlights now of games prior to the seats, and it looks weird to you.
Well, yeah, where it used to be like a tin wall out there. You know, they've redone it. It's beautiful. It's well finished. I mean, there were dents in that wall before, and the balls would hit over there, and you didn't know which way they were going to go. I'm talking back in the 70s and 80s.
I don't know if we have a camera angle that can see it, but if you walk out there, you can still see the dents.
Oh, think about it.
Look
from
like a
batting
hailstorm.
practice. Sure.
Hit the side of that. Yeah, you can see the dimples in the wall.
Pounded daily. Yeah, they used to have a net above the wall that would catch the home runs that would go over, some of them, and they used to climb a ladder and get all of the batting practice balls and retrieve them.
Yandy Diaz is retired, 1 down. We go back to Cleveland for a game break without Pulowski. All right, thank you, Al. Here at Fenway, it's 2-1 Cleveland. Into the 4th inning. Brandon Guyer, the only strikeout victim of Brian Johnson at the plate. Johnson gave up a 2-run homer to Edwin Encarnacion in the 1st. but he has only allowed 2 hits since then. A single to Yanni Diaz immediately after the home run by Edwin, and a 2-out double by Jose Ramirez in the 3rd. Bounced in front of the plate. Hit him. No surprise there. Dyer has always been baseball's version of a piñata. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. Indians 15-4 in the month of August.
So far, no dog days in the month of August. They played very well. Good baseball, outscoring their opposition 92-47. Been pitching very well, scoring.
Yan Gomes fouls one out of play.
Send out some birthday wishes. Fran Smith from Norwalk is turning 92. Pauline Coleman of Conesville is 93. Lucy Scioli is 90. Happy birthday to all 3 of you. We have some more. It's a busy night.
Yan rips it off the glove of a diving Brock Holt into left field. And Geyer has to stop at second because alertly Bogaerts hustled out and scooped up the rolling baseball. But the Indians have 2 on with 1 out here in the 4th.
Yan's been swinging it very well. Hit a line drive off the glove. Watch Holt go over and put some leather on it. And it deflects. And you see Bogaerts, he realized he's going to have to get out there in a hurry.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that about Gomes, because going back to something you said just a moment ago about the dog days of summer, if anybody's going to be feeling the effects of the dog days, it's a catcher.
Yes.
And Gomes is having his best month offensively of the season.
He's swinging it. His confidence is flying. He's, you know, he's taking good pitches. He's taking great passes at the baseball.
Matt, as you guys talked about the month of August and how good the team's played and outscored, you know, coming into tonight, Yan was hitting .317 in the month of August.
Yeah.
Right? He's been in the middle of all of it.
Well, that ball he hit out of the ballpark, I mean, a breaking ball down. He went down and hit a heck of a pitch out of the ballpark to give him an insurance run last night.
And now Greg Allen is sitting in a 2-0 count with a couple of runners aboard and 1 out. And Greg Allen is swinging a hot at bat as anybody. 400 average during his 14-game hitting streak. He was tempted, but on a 2-0 count, just not a pitch you're going to go after.
It's not a good one to get after. It's something that you can't handle or do a lot with. So just spit on it. Watch the pitch that Gomes hit last night. That curveball down. It might have been middle of the plate, but it was down, and that's where he likes it. He's a great low ball hitter. That was an insurance run for him late in the 8th inning. And we know his throwing and his catching has been superb.
2 on, 1 out, 2-2 pitch, and he went up the ladder and chased one. So 2 down.
This is what he does. He changed the eye level after he slowed it down. Now you go upstairs at the ladder, and as a young hitter, you're going to say, oh, I got to get up there. But it was out of the zone, so he pretty much got himself out in that at bat.
Eric Gonzalez grounded out his only time up in the 2nd. That ended the inning. Here he is again with 2 down, but this time 2 men on base. And you know, that he's still burning over that error that allowed an unearned run to come home and score for Boston.
Well, he'd like to drive one in because he figures you gave one up.
Chased one down and out of the zone, though. It's 1-2. Both of Brian Johnson's strikeouts tonight have come on fastballs. Guyer was a fastball running away from him. Allen, he went up out of the strike zone.
Yep.
See what he does here against Gonzalez. Went to a slow breaking ball, but it's way off the plate. 2-2 for Eric.
That's what he does. He sort of slow plays you early and then tries to throw a dart with the fastball right there.
Well, the Indians waste an opportunity. They get 2 on, can't cash in. 2-1 Cleveland, middle of the 4th.
Fastball command. I think there was kind of a little bit off. So when I don't have my best pitches, that's fastball, so I can go with my breaking balls. I think that day that my breaking ball was good, my changeup, slider, curveball. So when I don't have a very good pitch that day, so I have 4 more that I can use.
That's called making an adjustment. Yeah, and you saw the numbers that he put up in his last start, and he says he didn't have fastball command. He only gave up 3 hits in 7 innings, for goodness sakes.
It's also called making the best of a bad situation. You're hurt, you're on the DL. What are you going to do? You're going to sit there and mope and feel sorry for yourself? No, figure out a way to make yourself better. You have to commend him for doing that.
The one other thing that he's messed with. Remember back in Milwaukee, I told you how he made a change when he comes set, when he brings his hands together and comes up. He said on the DL, that was one of the things he worked on, guys. He says he wasn't completely comfortable with where he was leaving his hands when the pitches were coming out. So he worked on that while he was on the DL, and he says he feels like he's finally at a good spot. And he says he didn't know if he could do that when he was still pitching every 5 days.
Well, he can get on a roll, and when he's on a roll, he throws a lot of strikes.
Ties up J.D. Martinez. He got a piece of it, nicked it. And it's 0-2. Martinez drove in the Red Sox only run in the first with a 2-out RBI single, a fastball away. Blasted it through the right side of the infield.
Yeah, he gave him a little swinging room on that one.
Oh, man, locked him up with a breaking ball over the inside corner. Might have backed up on him.
He wasn't looking for a pitch in there. He was looking for a ball away. And what it did, I mean, you see the 3 pitches. They're going to go away and in, and then that breaking ball was inside and gets the call. So he gets his 5th strikeout.
Xander Bogaerts struck out his first time up. Fouled back out of play. Fly ball, deep left field, tie ball game. Holy mackerel, he hit it out of the ballpark. Bogaerts' 18th home run of the season.
'17th home run allowed by Carrasco, and he left him a slider that just stayed middle third inside, and he put a great swing on this. And it goes a long way. You watch it just spin on the inside edge. 83 miles per hour, and it leaves in a hurry. So we have a new ball game, all tied at 2.
It's funny how that can happen in baseball. So he threw almost the exact same pitch to J.D. Martinez, but he wasn't looking for it in there, and it locked him up, struck him out. But with Bogaerts, whether he was looking for it or not, he reacted to it, and he hits it out of the ballpark. That's why when pitchers talk about, you know, it's like a good miss when it works. When a guy misses it or takes it, it's not where you wanted it, but it worked out okay. But sometimes
I think
happens.
Also the situation of Martinez having 2 strikes on him, so he's going to be looking away more than he is going to be looking in, especially with a breaking ball. And I don't think Carlos tried to throw that breaking ball to Martinez in there, but it froze him and it locked him up.
Three and 1 the count.
You know, Bogaerts had an 0-1 count. But that he didn't miss the slider.
That's a fastball strike on the outside corner, and a full count to Ian Kinsler. 2-2 ball game here in the 4th now at Fenway. Brock Holt waits on deck. Foul, look out. By Gonzalez. So Ian Kinsler is 2 for 2.
There's the pitch there inside, a little off the plate in there, and he took it. But he gets it, and this one's going to stay just a little more of the plate, but he turned on it.
But both times, not where Carrasco wanted the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, when you sit and see where Gomes is sitting and where the glove is.
Down the right field line, this is trouble. Geyer cuts it off, and that'll hold Kinsler to third, and it keeps Holt at first, so the double play stays in order. But the Red Sox with 3 straight hits here in the 4th off Carrasco.
And they started the runner there, Kinsler. And it was a nice job by Holt to just put that ball in play. He turns on it. The runner was off. They're staying very aggressive. It looked like a changeup there. And he was able to turn on. So it's now 1st and 3rd with 1 out. And the Red Sox are mounting a little action here. They're staying aggressive after they tied the score.
Start dead batteries with
no-co.
Well, after Carl Willis leaves the mound, it'll be interesting to see if Carrasco can hold the Red Sox off the board the rest of this inning. He's got the 8 and 9 place hitters due up, but Boston threatening to take the lead.
Swihart, the hitter, he struck out in his first at-bat. Carlos could use one here.
Base hit. Red Sox lead it. Kinsler scores. Holt stops at second base. Blake Swihart delivers with the RBI single. The Indians had him shifted, and he just pounded it right through the hole on the left side of the infield.
Well, it was wide open, and he just that's a nice job of hitting. He was looking to go that way. That's just a routine ground ball to shortstop, but with where the shift was and the way they were playing, an easy base hit.
4 consecutive hits off Carrasco in the inning, and that's going to get the Indians bullpen scrambling into action. Now Jackie Bradley Jr. He is 0 for 1.
Getting after it. I mean, he's throwing a lot of strikes, so they're not taking. They're up there swinging. A lot of first pitch action.
Bradley had a terrific at bat his first time up, fouled off pitch after pitch after pitch. Ultimately, he grounded out. But he's got to go up with a pretty good idea what Carrasco is going to throw to him. One and one. Lefty-righty action in the Cleveland bullpen. Bradley swings and misses. It's 1-2. Neil Ramirez, the right-hander. Oliver Perez, the lefty. Chases one in the dirt. 2 down. 6th strikeout for Carrasco.
Well, gets him to chase it. That ball in the dirt, bounces it on the plate. You can see he lost the handle of the bat, but ended up swinging through it anyway. Out number 2, and this is going to be a tough out here in this inning. And you get this out, that'll be a good job with 4 straight hits for the Red Sox.
In the series opener on Monday night, the Red Sox scored 2 in the first and 1 in the second. And they led until Michael Brantley's 2-run homer tied the game in the 6th inning. This is the first time they have led since then in the series.
He's really had to work his way through other than that second inning.
Yeah, those 20 pitch innings will hasten your exit. Low and away, Betts able to lay off. And especially with the count tipped in his favor, he's not going to go fishing. It's 3-0. Just missed outside, but the bases are now loaded. So the Red Sox have scored 3 runs, though only 2 of them have been earned. They had the bases loaded and 2 down here in the 4th inning. Carrasco has not given up more than 3 runs in any start since the game he was knocked out of when he got hit on the elbow with a line drive. That's when Minnesota scored 4 against him in an inning and a third.
Yeah, this has not been a good place for Carlos to pitch in this ballpark. This is his 4th start and his 5th time he's pitched in here, but an ERA of over 7 for him.
But for a guy who has historically always been a good pitcher on the road, you thought maybe it's just coincidence, but maybe there's more to it. Might have a lot to do with the guys wearing the white uniforms. Fouled right back. I mean, for the year, Carrasco's earned run average is 255 on the road and 435 at home. And that's almost what it is in his career.
Yeah.
444 at home, 304 at home.
Yep. There you see it.
Now the 1-2. And he shoots at the left base hit. Holt scores. Swihart scores. Here comes Mookie Betts. It's a bases clearing 3-run double. And a 5-run 4th for the Red Sox. And it's going to be lights out for Cookie Carrasco.
Well, look at the breaking ball, though, but he stays on it. He goes to inside out, and I mean throws it right down into the corner. I didn't see what happened down in that corner. I mean, we lose Michael Brantley, but look at Betts scoring from first base, and that's not a far. I don't know if the ball got stuck anywhere or what happened to it. Here it comes. Oh, that's what it did. It hit the wall where he had to end up going to get it. And by the time he could, Betts was off and to the races.
So the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made. Oliver Perez is on when we come back. Cleveland going into the inning, and Carrasco goes out and strikes out J.D. Martinez, their toughest hitter to start the inning. And then homer, single, 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 strikeout, walk, 3-run double. Good night. Oliver Perez on to try to hold the Red Sox at bay now. Get the final out of the inning and give the offense a chance to make some headway against Brian Johnson.
Mitch Moreland, the 9th man to bat in the inning. He punches it to left. Brantley grabs it on a hop. They'll have to hold the runner Benintendi at third. And the beat goes on. Red Sox have batted around. 6 hits in the inning. And Tito is going to make another pitching change.
Well, he just got a pitch elevated, and he just drives it to left field. Stayed on it. Well, they have their hitting shoes on. They have 9 hits now. So Perez came on for 1 hitter, and he's done.
Neil Ramirez when we come back. Standing guard outside Fenway Park, where the Red Sox have ripped it open with a 5-run 4th inning. T-Mobile built for baseball. The locations, he's found too many hot zones in this inning.
Yeah, and Kinsler stayed on that ball that was away. There's one that was pretty much down the middle. The runner was off and running. 1 away. They're just staying on the baseball. That was a good piece of hitting there, because he had 2 strikes. He got the breaking ball, and he just stayed on it and shoots it the other way.
Neil Ramirez to face J.D. Martinez with 1st and 3rd and 2 down. Martinez led off this inning and struck out looking. What? 95-mile-an-hour fastball in there for a strike.
Yeah, the Red Sox with a 5-run inning. They lead the league in that department, scoring 5 runs in an inning. The Indians are 2nd.
The 2-1 is low. 3 balls and a strike. Full count.
It's another breaking ball staying on the inside corner. He just took. He thought it was ball, but that was a good pitch. That had the corner on the inside part of the plate. Well, you'll see it. So something's got to give. Full count, 2 outs. Indians have to get out of it right here.
Runner at first takes off. Ball 4. Bases are loaded again. And up comes Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts started the inning, the scoring anyway, with a home run that cleared not only the 37-foot wall, but also the seats above it and the sign that is perched above the seats. It was launched, but it only provided the spark for the Red Sox this inning. First of 5 runs scored here in the 4th on StatCast AI powered by AWS. Look at how far that ball carried over the sign that's above all of that left field seats.
Well, what did it say? 423 feet. It looked like it was hit, 600 because you're in this, small ballpark.
Good fastball in for a strike, 1-1. Not surprisingly, the Indians and the Red Sox have both been very good with the bases loaded. Boston as a team hitting .336, and the Indians .344. That was not a good call, but the Indians will take it. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he said that's outside. Got a break here. Let's take a look at it. He sure did.
And the 1-2 pitch is weakly grounded to third. Ramirez will take it himself, and the inning is over. But the Red Sox explode for 5 in the 4th. They lead it now by a score of 6-2. Brought to you by the 2019 Kia Sorento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. And by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. Now we go now to the fifth inning. And the Indians down 6-2. Top of the order, Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Jose Ramirez. Brian Johnson, shaky start, but he has settled down. And now his offense has given him a 4-run advantage.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the Indians come back and just answer that 5-run inning here. Stop some of that momentum that Boston's carrying right now. Plenty of time in this ballpark. But like we talk about all the time now, they're going to have to put zeros on the board against that offense.
Well, Alex Cora is not going to fool around either. He's already got action in the bullpen, and Brian Johnson comes out and walks the leadoff man on 4 pitches after his offense just scored him 5 runs.
Well, he was sitting there. It was a long inning, but he comes out and he's a guy that throws strikes. But you can see there is action.
Heath Embry getting loose. Michael Brantley stepping into the plate. Alex Cora is just 42 years old. And kind of the amazing thing about Alex, I don't think anybody doubts that he knows the game, that he is going to be a terrific manager. It's just funny how things work in this kind of day and age. 2 years ago, I was talking to Alex when the Indians were playing Boston in the playoffs here. He was working for ESPN.
Right.
I mean, he was doing radio and TV, kind of same stuff we're doing. And, you know, I spent 5 minutes with him, and I could tell the passion for the game was always there. You know, even when he played with the Indians, you knew that this guy knew the game. And someday down the road, this might. But, I mean, he went from that, Arch, to bench coach in Houston to managing.
And they win a World Series.
Bang, just like that.
Yeah. Matt, the other thing, if you remember, I was with you when you were talking with him. He was also the general manager of the Puerto Rican team.
Oh, that's right.
And he was, and I know Hosey and a lot of the, or not Hosey, excuse me, Frankie and a lot of the guys said just from him being around them in the offseason, they knew he was a manager right away.
Yeah. Pitch outside corner, called a strike.
And then one other thing about Cora that he goes out of his way to say when he was underneath Tito, he says he learned so much from him. He said the #1 trait he learned watching Terry Francona was Terry lets his guys be themselves. He doesn't overwhelm them with rules, but he lets every guy be themselves. He wants that same trait.
Brantley shoots one to left, and it's run down by Andrew Benintendi. Well, maybe that had a chance to get down. Instead, it's out #1, and that'll bring up Jose Ramirez. Well, Cora is one of only 8 guys to have won a world championship as a Red Sox player and then gone on to manage the club, and he's going to go out.
Boy, that
make
was
a pitching
quick,
change.
huh?
Yeah.
82 pitches.
So Johnson gets the quick hook here in the 5th. With 1 on, 1 out, and the Red Sox up 6-2. Cora wants this one badly, and he's going to the bullpen now. DL today. Rajay Davis was placed on the 10-day disabled list. He's dealing with a case of, why can't I think, I'm blanking out here. Hemorrhoids, yeah, he's got a case of hemorrhoids. So Rajay is on the disabled list. Leonis Martin will not return for the rest of the season. Tito addressed the club before the ball game today. It's just been too much for Martin's body to deal with, and just they're thinking about his health first and foremost, and they want to get him back to 100%. And Tito fully expects him to be back next year and ready to go, but to expect him to try and get himself ready to come back and play Major League Baseball right now after what he just went through, not realistic.
Crazy.
Heath Embry facing Jose Ramirez, who pops one up center field. 2 down. Edwin Encarnacion back in the first inning. Got the Indians an early 2-0 lead when he blasted one over the Green Monster.
Yeah, first at bat since coming off the DL. Gave him a short-lived lead. That was Edwin's 26th.
Low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Career home run.
Oh, and you figure when Toronto came into here, they had to face those 2 guys every night. Bautista and Encarnacion.
You know, here's the other thing, too. Edwin, this year, Arch, 14 of his home runs have come in Cleveland, 12 on the road. Just did catch the inside corner. Edwin hammers one high and deep and gone down the left field line. It caught the sign high above the Green Monster. It stayed inside the pole, and the Indians come right back.
I thought that ball was going to hook foul the way he got out in front of it, but that stayed true all the way out, and I think it hit that sign out there.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It's a ball that most of the time we see, especially off of his bat, he gets out front and he'll hook it. But that thing,
for whatever reason, stayed straight. I thought he got out in front of it a little bit.
Straight as a string to left field.
Yes, it was. And you could see it got in on him a little bit, but he got a good piece of the barrel on the ball. And look at it, it stays straight and hits the sign. So that's his second 2-run homer of the night. And guess what? Back in it.
Right back in it indeed. So Edwin Encarnacion spends the time on the DL. He comes back. He's hit 2 2-run homers tonight in his first game back. Yandy might have chased after it. No, says Jerry Davis.
You know, Embry fell behind 3-0 and looked like he didn't want to walk him. So he tried to pitch him inside, and he got burnt.
Yandy fouling it back out of play. And look, this is the dilemma that managers, in every dugout in baseball find themselves in. You go to your bullpen. When it works, you look like the smartest guy in the room. When it doesn't, people go, why'd you take that guy out? Why'd you bring him in? And you know, now Alex Cora is in that situation. Yandy's called out on strikes. That'll end the inning. But the Indians get some momentum back. Edwin Encarnacion, two two-run homers on the night. And it's now 6-4 Boston halfway through.
Access to Tribe Rewards, and today's Tribe Rewards code is, you got it, popcorn. Visit Indians.com for complete details.
Neil Ramirez stays on to pitch the bottom of the fifth. Indians down 2. Ian Kinsler, Brock Holt, Blake Swihart are due up for Boston. And Neil Ramirez in with a first pitch strike. Fouled out of play.
Finish up our birthdays. Joe Scoff is turning 83 today. John Sabo, 93 from Maple Heights. John Laird, 85 from Coshocton. And a happy anniversary to Dorothy and Bob Yates, celebrating their 59th from Avon Lake. Congratulations.
Yeah. One-two pitch. Swung on and missed. Neil Ramirez. Some high cheddar, and Kinsler could not catch up to it. Hey, just a reminder, tomorrow's series wraps up with an afternoon affair here at Fenway. Indians Live begins our coverage at 12:30. First pitch, 1 o'clock on Sports Time Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Adam Pletko will go for the Tribe, and left-hander David Price will go for Boston. One down for Brock Holt. You and I have talked about this topic many times before, but it's always amazing to me how small the baseball world is and how interconnected everything seems to be. So Alex Cora, when he played for the Indians back in 2005, he was traded here to Boston during that season. The guy he was traded for was Ramon Vasquez, who's now a coach on Alex Cora's staff.
I'll be darned.
Brock Holt 1 for 2, singled and scored in the 4th. Fouls and out of play.
Alex's brother Joey is the third base coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know, they're both into it. They both love baseball, always have.
And you know, look, he's done a terrific job. Obviously, he's got a great team, and you know, a lot of people have said he hasn't really had to deal with any problems, any issues. It's been smooth sailing.
Just wait a while.
Well, which brings me to my point. Boston has lost 3 in a row for the first time since April. And, you know, 2 years ago when the Indians went to the World Series, they did not lose more than 3 games in a row the whole season. That's incredible to go through an entire year and not have a 4-game losing streak.
Yes, it is.
But even now, with Boston having lost 3 in a row, the whispers are there. You know, the writers are tweeting and writing, and the sports talk radio, they're bloviating all day long about what's wrong with the Red Sox. And is this going to be too much to handle once again? There's a hard hit ball that Encarnacion takes himself, and there are 2 down. I mean, the bottom line is they're so far out in front. You know, they could go through a 10-game losing streak and probably still be okay, because there's no guarantees that the Yankees could reel off 10 straight wins to catch him.
Well, it's funny because we heard the whispers that the Indians are coming to town, and I think they were looking forward to playing against a team like the Indians. You know, first place, a contender, a team that will be in the playoffs, and they lose the first 2, and you can hear them saying, "Oh boy, they're in trouble. They need to get some more." You know, you can just hear it, the whispers when you're sitting down eating it.
My whole point to all this is, and look, Alex is a smart guy. I just wonder though, is it different in this town when you're in the hot seat, when you're where John Farrell has been and Tito has been? Is it more difficult to handle the external noise here than maybe in some other places? I mean, until you sat in that seat, I don't know.
No. It's got to be. This is a tough go.
The 0-2 is fouled back out of play. Neil Ramirez trying to settle it down for the Indians after Boston erupted for 5 runs in the 4th. And a foul back. Well, this guy's putting up an at bat here. Now the 2-strike pitch. Another foul ball.
It's funny, I think Frankie tried to decoy him, because when he came set, I saw where he walked over more to the shortstop side when Ramirez was coming out of his stretch, and then figuring he may say it's a fastball. But when Ramirez started to go to pitch, he started running back to where he once was, knowing that was going to be a breaking ball.
Rick, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but Swihart has an interesting approach at the plate. It almost looks like his back foot moves on every swing. And he goes
out
down
of his toe hold.
Yeah. So a couple of Ks for Neil Ramirez, and he settles things down through 5. It's Boston 6, Cleveland 4. See some amazing vehicles at the Cars in Cleveland Spectacular, presented by the Bernie Marino Companies, sponsored by A.B. Bernstein. There will be music, food, activities for the whole family from 11 to 3. Don't miss it. New pitcher for Boston. Brandon Workman takes over for Heath Embry. And Workman making his 29th appearance on the year.
Well, the Indians were able to get a run off him last night. Stopped his 5 2/3 inning scoreless streak. Alonso hit a sacrifice fly in the 7th inning. So they're looking to keep it rolling now. Down a pair. Plenty of time left.
Brandon Guyer, Jan Gomes, Greg Allen duo. Guyer goes down swinging. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Xander Bogaerts with a home run in the 4th inning tied the game at 2, and then Boston blew it open. They scored 5 runs in the 4th to take a 6-2 lead. The Indians, though, have been powered by Edwin Encarnacion, who hit a 2-run homer in the 1st and a 2-run homer in the 5th. By the way, Bart Swain telling us that the 2-run homer in the 1st for Edwin, the most ever for the Indians this year in the 1st inning. 28 first inning home runs for the Indians this year.
Well, they topped last year's mark at 27. Didn't take them long to break it, did it?
The 1st inning.
For whatever reason.
There's a fly ball hit the deep left center field. It is going to be off the green monster.
Hold up.
And Jan Gomes is going to have to hurry. He is out at second base.
That's one thing this outfield can do. They can throw the baseball, and he played that wall beautifully. Got a very strong arm. And I know a lot of people come in here and think you can score, but it's not that far away when you get down to it. And watch how he plays it. You see he's sitting back far enough. His momentum carried him right into the throw, into a perfect throw. So I'll tell you what, that's a heck of a play by Bradley. Boy, nicely done.
Greg Allen squares and takes a pitch for a ball.
But once again, Gomes smoked that ball off the wall with another good swing on a baseball. So he's 2 for 3.
Missed just fouled on that 3rd base side. Fly ball hit the deep center. Back goes Bradley and makes the catch on the warning track. And the inning is over. It remains 6-4 Boston. Dan Otero getting loose in the Cleveland pen. And Neil Ramirez staying on to start the bottom of the 6th. He's got Jackie Bradley, then Mookie Betts, and Andrew Benintendi. There's a line drive past Encarnacion down into the right field corner. Dyer tries to cut it off. He does. But sliding in safely with a leadoff double is Jackie Bradley.
He smoked that ball down the right field line, and Geyer did a really nice job. This is where I'm telling you where this ballpark can be very tricky. You've got to try and cut that ball off before it gets to the wall, and he did a nice job of sliding. If he doesn't cut it off, that ricochets, and that can roll around there for a while. So Bradley will get the double, but a nice job by Geyer to cut it off. That's his 24th double. Now you're going back to the top of the lineup. 10 hits now for Boston.
Mookie Betts struck out in the 1st. He singled in the 3rd. He walked and scored in the 4th. And a foul off to the right. Boston scored an unearned run in the 1st inning, and they put up 5 in the 4th. A big blow, a 3-run double by Andrew Benintendi came with 2 outs in the inning, and it ended the night for Carlos Carrasco. 2-2. High pop, shallow center. Greg Allen makes the catch. 1 away. Well, this was the big blow in that 4th inning.
but he stayed inside the baseball, and that's where you got to give somewhere. And if he gets it down there, that's unbelievable. Bases were loaded, and the ball hits off that wall and it stops. If that ball comes back off towards Brantley, I don't think they get that third run in, but Betts scored all the way from first base. So that was really a terrific job of hitting there.
We got a timeout. Neil Ramirez is out. Dan Otero is in when we return. They've got a runner on with one out, and Dan Otero coming to the plate. Or I should say coming into pitch with Andrew Benintendi at the plate. He had that big hit back in the fourth inning. We just showed it to you. Lindor trying to keep Bradley close at second base. And Otero dots the outside corner. It's 0-2.
See Lindor right behind him now, trying to keep him a little bit closer to the bag.
Bouncing ball. Eric Gonzalez will throw him out. 2 down. Bradley moves to third. Mitch Moreland coming to the plate last night after Greg Allen stole a hit away from Xander Bogaerts. He took a big hit and multiple RBIs away from Mitch Moreland.
Yeah, that was 2 terrific catches, although Moreland did get a sacrifice fly on that one, but that was the turning point in the game, that second catch.
2 down, runner at third, and Moreland looks at ball 1 outside. tied him up. Good fastball from Otero. Not a guy you want to say, let's fall behind and just challenge him with a fastball.
I know it.
Often.
That's what I'm saying. When you fall behind 2-0, you've got to make sure you execute that pitch, and he certainly did. He took a pretty healthy cut.
Did it again. 2-2.
He's right back into the count.
High pop, foul, and out of play. Uh-oh, this is hit a long way. Deep right field. Back is Bogaerts. It's gone. On a 2-2 pitch, Mitch Moreland drives it into the Cleveland bullpen. And now Boston leads it 8-4.
Moreland, his 15th home run. See what this pitch is. That was one that was just a little bit out over the plate, and he smokes that ball into the bullpen. They go back up by 4.
And J.D. Martinez now coming to the plate. Drove in a run with a hit in the first, struck out in the fourth, walked later that inning.
Continue to keep coming at you.
Well, the Red Sox, like the Indians, like any other good team, if you let them have that big inning like they had, it's very difficult to then pretty much shut them out the rest of the game.
Yes, it is.
Not impossible, but.
No, not impossible. But I'll tell you, they've been aggressive in this series. They've been taking off. They've been hitting and running. You got to continue to make good pitches because that lineup seems to flip over awful quickly.
Just over the top of the Red Sox dugout, or
I don't know where the netting is up there or how high it is. It was tough to see.
It must have gone right somehow over the top of it. Everybody seems to be okay, but that thing went whistling through there somehow.
Ooh, he caught it right in the arm.
Fouled off, and I got a chunk of Yan Gomes. That time he went fishing and he strikes him out. That'll end the inning. But Mitch Moreland with a 2-run homer extends the Boston lead 8-4 as we head to the 7th.
Baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio.
8-4 Boston, 7th inning. And the Red Sox go back to their bullpen. Matt Barnes will be the 4th pitcher of the night. Brandon Workman pitched a scoreless 6th. Eric Gonzalez grounded out in the 2nd inning, called out on strikes to end the 4th. And fouls this one back out of play. Big bouncer to first base. Moreland. Good feed to the pitcher covering. One away. Let's pause right now for a word from Circle K.
Polar Pop Cup, just 79 cents every day, only at Circle K.
(8-4) Boston up. Francisco Lindor doubled and scored in the 1st. He walked and scored in the 5th.
Almost got him in the foot.
That's down and in. 2 balls, no strikes. Lindor led off the game with a double and then came around to score on the homer by Encarnacion in the 1st. It snapped a string of 9 games without an extra base hit for Lindor. And got him to 40 doubles on the season. Back to the mound. And a nice play by Barnes, 2 away.
Well, get tickets now to the Encaya Music Festival. That'll take place Saturday and Sunday in downtown Cleveland. Catch performances by New Order, the Ivette Brothers, SZA, AWOL Nation, the Revivalists, Cake, and many more. You don't want to miss out on the biggest party to rock Cleveland. Purchase single day or weekend tickets. Go to Encaya.com.
Michael Brantley 0 for 3 has flied out twice, grounded out once. Matt Barnes misses outside. 2-0 the count. Well, he can ring it in there at 98 miles an hour. And Brantley turns one around to deep right field. Betts is back and makes the catch. And the Indians go 1-2-3. Stretch time at Fenway. It's 8-4 Boston. (8-4) Red Sox on top. Edwin Encarnacion certainly giving the Indians a boost tonight. But remember, last year on August the 14th, he blasted a couple of balls out of here.
Yes, he did. Two, and then guess what? First inning, just coming off the disable list. It's a 2-run homer in his first at bat. And, oh my goodness, he does it again. He didn't think that ball was going to stay fair. It certainly did. So he's got two-run homers tonight. So his last couple times he's stepped into this ballpark, he has done a lot of damage, I would say.
And guys, the thing that stands out about Edwin's swing from last year and tonight, keeping both hands on the bat, and that was the main thing that Terry Francona said they wanted. It was enough time that he had gone by that they wanted him back to swinging the bat when he was most comfortable. They appreciated that he fought through and was using just one hand, but they figured at this time of the year it was time to do it, and so far it's a great decision by the Indians.
Yeah, paid off, didn't it?
And that's what he said. He says he just wanted to know that he couldn't hurt himself any worse, but he wanted that bruise out of his hand so he could swing the bat like he always has.
Yeah, I think with a veteran like that, a little rest this time of year can't do any harm. Xander Bogaerts leads off for Boston, bottom of the 7th. His home run ignited the 5-run 4th.
Doesn't look like Otero wants to give Bogaerts any swinging room, does he? He wants to try to run that sinker in on his hands.
Ball hit in the air to right. Back goes Guyer. We're still going back, and he's out of room. It's into the Boston bullpen. Another home run for Boston. That's their third on the night, and that one, an opposite field blast that carried all the way into the Red Sox bullpen.
Yeah, Bogaerts is second. I'm surprised that ball had that much carry. I mean, the guy ran out of room, ran into the fence, but that's what happens. You give him a little swinging room, and you can see he stayed on the baseball. And Guyer goes back, and does he pin himself? Yes, he does. He pinned himself up against the wall going back there, and he couldn't catch it. And the bullpen catcher actually got a glove on it. So the second home run allowed by Otero.
Ground ball foul. Ian Kinsler, 2 singles and a run scored on the night. Way out in front of that pitch. Otero gets ahead 1-2. Missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boston now leading it 9-4. And a broken bat bouncer foul. Right at Ramirez. Jose throws him out, 1 down.
Take a look at Bogaerts. Home run going to right field, carrying out. Sad catch, got it at about 100 miles an hour, 373 feet, but it had some carry, some spin to it. That's the toughest part of the ballpark to hit it out. You go oppo here, that's saying something.
Bogaerts now with 19 home runs and 80 runs batted in.
They have 172 as a team. The Indians have 175.
Bogaerts, 18 of his last 29 hits have gone for extra bases. And he has 6 runs batted in the first 3 games
like
of this series.
The unsung hero in this lineup.
Smashed to short. Lindor had to back up on it. What a nice play he made. And Encarnacion on the backside able to help him out 2 away. That ball was scorched, and Lindor had to back up on it. And when he did so, he kind of spun around, but he set himself. And there are 2 down now. It'll bring up Blake Swihart. The Red Sox catcher is 1 for 3 on the night. He singled in a run and scored in the 4th.
right. I've been watching that back foot coming out of the toe hold. Makes his stride, and you just watch how it.
Just unusual looking.
Yeah, because that's where your power used to stay back with that foot in the toe hold. See where it comes off.
The inning is over, but not before Xander Bogaerts extends the Boston lead with a home run. A hurry for Carlos Carrasco tonight. He was rolling along, and then in the fourth inning he struck out JD Martinez, and boy, the next thing you know, there were 5 runs on the board. Joe Kelly coming on to pitch for Boston. He is the 5th pitcher of the night for the Red Sox. Their starter Brian Johnson went 4 1/3. Heath Embry, Brandon Workman, Matt Barnes, and now Joe Kelly. Jose Ramirez is 1 for 3. He doubled in the 3rd. So far, Jose 1 for 10 in the series. I was looking back at some of the other teams that have had success against Ramirez this year. There aren't many that can hang their hat on that accomplishment. But St. Louis held him in check for the most part. He was 2 for 12 against the Cardinals. The Pirates held him to 0 for 7, but he also had 4 walks.
Right.
And then Seattle, he was 4 for 29. Angels 4 for 21, but he also had 2 homers, 6 ribbies, and walked 6 times against the Angels.
Yeah, that's where he got off to that slow start, though, for him.
Yeah.
Early in the year.
Yeah, when Seattle and Anaheim out there.
The first 2, the first road trip.
There's a base hit right back up the middle, and I was about to say, I don't know if it's anything those teams or those pitching staffs did effectively. Maybe more of a case where he was just maybe out of sorts for a couple of times in those series.
Yeah, and the swing right here, he's been up until that double back of the 3rd, he didn't get a ball out of the infield, but that line drive there was nice.
Matt, Rick, I would tell you from being around Jose and Frankie today, Neither one of them, and this is no disrespect to the pitchers. They don't think it's the pitchers. They see it as they don't take good swings or swing at good pitches, and I think that's where their confidence comes from. And they both knew coming in today that they hadn't swung it well against the Red Sox.
Let's take another look at this swing by Jose.
Right up the middle. And that was a good pitch down and away. It had a little movement. You know, you go out there and try and pull that ball, and you're either going to pop it up or swing and miss at it. But he went right back up the middle, and it went right back where it came from, past Kelly.
Well, Edwin's having himself a night.
Well, he has two. Why not get three?
Kelly puts him in the hole 0-2. That one bounced in the dirt, but Ramirez no reason to be overly aggressive here. 32 times Edwin Encarnacion has had a multi-homer game. Albert Pujols, 58 of them.
In a world of his own, isn't he?
Now the 1-2. There goes Jose. Edwin fouling it back. We're in the 8th with the Indians down 5. But they've got their leadoff man aboard. Low and away, 2-2. Edwin went down, dug it out, fouls it off. It stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the 8th. And the Indians trying to climb out of a 5-run hole. They led this game 2-0 before the Red Sox came to bat. Boston got a run in the first and then took the lead with 5 in the 4th. The Indians came back with 2 in the 5th. And the Red Sox answered with 2 in the 6th. Tacked one on the 7th. Down low. Full count. Yandy Diaz waiting on deck. And we might see Melky Cabrera pinch hit for Geyer. Edwin with a ground ball to third. Holt pulled him off the bag, and Edwin beats it out at first. So a break for the Indians. They've got 2 on with nobody out. That went from potentially a double play to nobody being out.
That's right, and it's the throw as Kinsler comes up. You see he lost his footing, and that throw was high and wide, so he's off the base. And let's see if Eddie's. That may be out at first, so they may be, they're going to challenge that. That one is correct. He is safe at second base, but on the relay to first, it's a one-hopper, and it looks like it may have been in the glove of Moreland.
Let's see, the ball looks like it's in the glove right before he gets the foot on the bag.
Yeah, boy, that's going to be tough. We'll see. Holt at third base, stumbled, and that's why he pulled Kinsler off the base. chief. He's at first base tonight, so he's got to go over there and hear what they have to say. But the challenge is in. Hey, this could help the Indians, boy. You get a break right here. They don't get an out. If it stands.
Well, we had one last night that we didn't think was going to get overturned, and it did.
That's true. Well, you're at the 8th inning here, so why not? It's bang, bang. You got to try it. Taking a little bit longer than I thought.
All comes back to, is there an angle that really gives them that conclusive evidence that they're looking for? Here's the call.
See.
Yep. So Edwin is retired at first. They went the long way around to get him, but they at least get an out. That's big for Boston.
Take a look, and the one hop is there, and it gets into the glove just before that foot gets on the base.
So 1 out for Yandy Diaz. And Melky Cabrera has moved to the on-deck circle. Fastball hit 100 miles an hour, and it evens the count. Yandy singled to center in the first, lined out in the fourth, called out on strikes in the fifth. Moreland at first base. Oh, man. Diaz had himself probably a double if that gets by Moreland. Instead, there are 2 down in the inning.
Well, he's made a few good plays in this series, and this one that looked like, I'll tell you what, the timing was just impeccable how he goes. He takes one step, and he's left-handed. He's got to go to the backhand side, and he snares that ball out of the air. Second out. And it takes you're right, probably an extra base hit away from Diaz.
Melky Cabrera, pinch hitting. He was 5 for 7 in the first 2 games of the series with a double, 2 homers. He's homered in 3 straight games going back to the homestand finale. Off-speed pitch, nothing, and 2 the count. Boy, those last 2 at bats just show you how the difference between success and failure, winning and losing, it's sometimes so fine.
Yeah, fine line.
If Edwin's safe, he got 2 on, nobody out. If that ball gets by Moreland, but both times the Indians come up on the short end of those situations.
Yeah. Well, that guy made a nice play. Remember, he had made the nice play last night, throwing a runner out at home plate. And it was Yandy coming in on the Kipnis ball. If you remember, he made that backhanded stab and it was going on contact.
Now the 0-2 upstairs. Joe Kelly's 1-2 pitch. It's inside. And again, he's pumping it up there at 100 miles an hour.
Well, you don't have much of a chance if he hits in there. It was just in off the plate.
1/3 of the pitches he has thrown here tonight have been at 100 miles an hour. Chuck that one in the dirt. That'll send Ramirez to third on the wild pitch.
Well, that one was spiked off the arm of Swihart to flex away. That'll be the wild pitch for Kelly.
It's kind of crazy when you think about the kind of arm speed it takes to throw 100 miles an hour. I don't know how you can slow it down to throw a breaking ball and keep it accurate.
Yeah, well, he has a tough time doing it. That's why. Consistency may be tough for him with that breaking ball.
Missed inside. He walked him. So it gives the Indians another opportunity here in the inning with 2 down.
We always talk about it's not how hard. It's nice to get it up there, but can you command it once you get it up to that level? And he's throwing 100. I want to see how many of those 100-mile-an-hour pitches were strikes.
Bullpen scrambles into action for Boston. They've got Gomes and then Greg Allen on deck. And out comes the pitching coach, Dana Levangie. Ryan Brazier getting loose now for Boston. Nine runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 miscue for Cleveland. But they have 2 on with 2 out, and Yan Gomes at the plate. That fastball once again at triple digits, in for a strike. And then he runs that high fastball up around the letters, and good luck.
Well, he saw the first one, so you figure as a hitter, I got to get it started a little bit earlier. And not a whole lot of time to decide.
Now the 0-2. And Gomes fights it off. That was right up there at the top of the zone again. And the 0-2 once again. That time he pumped it by. That was well located. Fastball away, strikes him out. Indians strand 2. 9-4 Boston. Indians bullpen had been really good in the first 2 games of this series. Tonight, not as good.
Now, a couple of home runs, 4 hits, and the 3 earned runs, but you know, this Boston lineup can do it to you. You've got to make quality pitches all the time. They've hit 3 home runs on the night. Bogaerts has 2 of them. Moreland has 1.
Cody Allen on the pitch here in the 8th. Jackie Bradley, Mookie Betts, Andrew Benintendi to bat for Boston. Bradley 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the 6th. Ground ball, diving attempt by Lindor, and it just did get by him.
Hit number 13 now for the Red Sox, and a couple of hits for Bradley Jr.
Cody Allen this year, 53 appearances. He saved 25 out of 28. Melky Cabrera stays in the game. He's out in right field. And now the top of the order for Boston, as they bat here in the bottom of the 8th, leading at 9-4. He popped him up, back out of play. One and one to count. These two will hook up tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time in the series finale. Indians Live will start our coverage at 12:30 tomorrow. Betts pops one to shallow right. Gonzalez racing out. In comes Melky, and Cabrera is there. 1 down. That'll bring up Andrew Benintendi. When you go back to that 3-run double that he hit in the 4th inning, it's not where you go back and say, oh man, that was just a really poorly located pitch. That's one where you kind of have to say, give that guy credit with the stick, because he took him inside out.
He sure did.
Sliced it down the line.
Yeah, and that's they were playing him off the bag. We showed you earlier, it was only his 9% you know, opportunity there, and it cleared the bases. I mean, it looked like a little breaking ball, but watch. It's down, but he goes the other way with it. He really let that ball get deep. He didn't go out and turn over on it. He sliced it down that way.
One ball, 1 strike. Jackie Bradley leads it off at first with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Pumped it by him, fastball right at the top of the zone. Fouled right back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 on, 1 out. We're in the 8th. Very quiet sellout crowd of 37,107.
Yeah, it's been the bullpens have brought this down to a slow pace here in this ball game. Both starters did not last long. Carrasco only 3 2/3 innings. When you look at Johnson, their starter 4 1/3. He pulled them early.
Benintendi goes down swinging, and there are 2 away here in the 8th. Our Pat O'Brien Chevrolet play of the game. Mitch Moreland in the 6th with 2 down on a 2-2 pitch. Able to blast one out of here. And that took it from a 6-4 game to an 8-4 game. And Boston added a run in the 7th on another home run to make it 9-4. Missed outside with it. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 down in the 8th. Indians have a shift on with Eric Gonzalez in shallow right. Tell you one thing I've noticed in the first couple of games, not so much in game 1, but last night and tonight in particular. I don't know if this is a newer phenomenon, but you get into the late innings here and a lot of folks are trying to get a head start, head home early.
Yeah.
I mean, it really starts to thin out. Just outside, 2-1.
They're thinking, okay, it's probably over. Let me get a head start. Not an easy place to park around here.
No, I don't even know
and
where.
They may have to walk a ways. Unless you want to pay, what, $50, $60 to park?
Oh. 3-1. And that's popped back out of play. We got a full count. Twins lost earlier to the White Sox 7-3.
Indians had a chance to go up 14 games in the division. Runner at first is off with the 3-2 pitch. And that's ball 4. So 2 on, 2 out. And J.D. Martinez will be coming up. Houston outlasted Seattle in a slugfest today, 10-7 at Safeco. And Oakland went down to defeat the hands of Texas. So the Astros take a 1-game lead over the A's in the West.
Those two teams will be meeting up this weekend in Houston, Oakland and Houston.
Well, J.D. Martinez takes ball 1. He has walked, struck out twice, and had an RBI single back in the first. After winning 4 in a row, the Yankees are falling flat down in Miami. They trail the Marlins 8-3 in the 8th inning of that game. So if Boston goes on to win, the Yankees go on to lose, the Red Sox will be back to a 9-game lead in the division. '21st pitch of the inning for Allen. And it's ripped to left off the monster. That'll get a run home. And JD almost ran up into second base, but he puts the brakes on and goes back to first. It's now 10-4 Red Sox. Second RBI of the night for Martinez, his 108th on the year.
Well, he got the count in his favor, and he got a pitch inside that he liked, and it was down a little bit, and he hit a rocket off the wall. Bradley scored and make it a 10-4 Boston lead.
Now Xander Bogaerts. He's homered twice tonight. To center and deep, and Greg Allen runs it down again. Man, oh man, that man has done a terrific job covering a lot of turf in center field in this series. But the Red Sox add another run, 10-4 Boston. We go to the ninth. Presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
(10-4) Boston, 9th inning. And Ryan Brazier is the 6th Red Sox pitcher of the night, making his 18th appearance on the season. So far, so good. Last time out was Saturday against Tampa, and he pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning. He has authored 7 straight scoreless appearances. Here's another guy, 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, hitter's only hitting a $150 off him. 9 for 60 on the year.
Greg Allen fouling it back.
Trying to get that, keep that hitting streak going. Might have to get a knock here.
Down and in, he missed. Foul ball. Missed outside. Pulls that foul. Ryan Brazier was a high school catcher. And he went to college and was converted to a pitcher. The Angels made him a 6th round pick back in 2007. He made his major league debut for the Angels in 2013 and then had Tommy John surgery in 2014. And this is the first year he has pitched in the major league since.
He's got the body style of a catcher. When you look at him, you say, okay, he could be a catcher. He's thrown 98.
Last year he pitched in Japan. There's a fly ball to left. So he was out there for the taking. Anybody could have snapped him up. He was essentially a free agent. He signed with the Red Sox in March and then got promoted to the big league club in July. But that's a long road to travel, though, when you're go through that surgery and you wonder how many sleepless nights will I ever get a chance to pitch again. You wind up pitching in Japan. I mean, you're still doing what you love, but you're a long way from the major leagues.
Rehabbing, you've got to do it all in persistency. You've got to just stay with it and believe that you're going to have that opportunity to come back and maybe one day get another opportunity. And for him, he certainly did.
Eric Gonzalez grounds out to first, 2 down. Been a tough go for right-handed hitters against this guy. And what, 0 for their last 16 against him. So that'll bring up Francisco Lindor, who is 1 for 3. He doubled and scored in the first, walked and scored in the 5th. Down in the dirt. Fouled back, not a play. Now the Indians will come back here tomorrow afternoon for the series finale. Down to their last out here tonight, but an opportunity to still win the series if they can bounce back tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Adam Plutko against David Price is the pitching matchup.
Lindor corkscrewed into the ground after that ball came down and caught him on the foot.
Boy, you don't want to start falling him off. Hopefully it did. It hit that protective pad that he was wearing, but still, that does not feel good.
Those who are still here are up on their feet, and Lindor lines out to first to end the game. So the Red Sox stopped their 3-game losing streak and beat the Indians tonight by a final score of 10-4. And the series finale will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Red Sox are now 89-39 on the year. The Indians are 73-53. The Red Sox blew it open with a 5-run fourth and never looked back tonight. 10-4 is the